You know, for most of our history, our pharmacy wasn't a building with a green cross on it. Nope, it was the world right outside our door. A living library of roots and leaves and flowers, filled with knowledge passed down through countless generations. Today, we're going to explore what happens when one of those ancient libraries starts to burn. Seriously, just think about that for a second. What if the shelves at your local pharmacy started getting emptier and the pharmacists were forgetting the formulas? It's a pretty scary thought, right? Well, for millions of people around the globe, this isn't just a thought experiment. It's their reality. For communities in places like rural Ethiopia, this isn't about some new wellness trend. Traditional medicine is their healthcare system. It's often the only one they have. The forest, the fields, the gardens, that's their lifeline. So our journey today takes us to a very specific place, Jabitehnan, a real hotspot of biodiversity in Ethiopia, where a group of researchers went to try and understand this incredible living library. Okay, so let's get our bearings. We're looking at the Jabitehnan district. It's a rural agricultural area about 380 kilometers from the capital of Ethiopia. And it's here that the connection between people and plants isn't just a hobby. It's an essential part of everyday life. And the climate here is the secret sauce. You've got these really distinct wet and dry seasons, and that pattern creates the perfect conditions for an incredible diversity of plant life to just explode. It's basically the ideal incubator for a natural pharmacy. So, to actually document these secrets, the researchers had to sit down with the librarians themselves, the local healers and community members who hold all this knowledge. And what they found was just astounding. With the help of 90 local guides and experts, they identified and documented 95 different species of medicinal plants. 95 that are all actively being used to treat human sickness. That's a massive catalog of natural remedies. Now, the community isn't just using any old plant. They rely on what's practical. And you can see that here. Shrubs and herbs make up the vast majority of what they use. And why is that? Well, because they're easier to get to, they often grow back faster, and they're available for most of the year. They're reliable. And when you look at which part of the plant they use, leaves are the clear winner. This is super interesting because not only is it effective, but it's also way more sustainable. Think about it. Picking some leaves is a lot less damaging to the plant than digging up its entire root system, which you can see is the next most common part they use. The preparation itself is incredibly hands-on. We're talking about pure physical methods, pounding, squeezing, crushing, all to get those active compounds out of the plant. This isn't a factory assembly line. It's a direct, almost intimate transformation of nature into medicine. And let's look at some of these incredible examples. For a simple wound, they might burn the leaf of one plant and just apply it directly. But for something as terrifying as rabies, they have a procedure. They pound the dried root of another plant and mix it with local beer. This isn't just guesswork, it's a sophisticated system of treatment that's been refined over centuries. But here's where the story takes a really urgent turn, because this incredible library of knowledge, it's fragile, and it is starting to disappear. The first huge problem is a knowledge gap. The study found that the specialized healers know more than twice as much as the general community. So this expertise is concentrated in the hands of just a few, mostly older individuals. When a healer dies, an entire volume from this library can be lost forever. And the knowledge is also divided along gender lines. Men, who tend to do more of the farming and herding, generally know more about the plants you'd find out in the wild. Women, on the other hand, are often the experts in remedies for things around the home, childcare, reproductive health, common sicknesses. Both sets of knowledge are absolutely vital, but they're distinct. The threats are really coming from all sides. You've got the physical library, the forest itself, literally shrinking because of deforestation and expanding farms. And at the same time, the human library is threatened by modernization as younger generations look to modern medicine, and that sacred oral tradition of passing knowledge down gets weaker and weaker. And losing habitat isn't just about losing some trees, it's about losing entire sections of the pharmacy. Look at this. 44 of these medicinal plants are found only in the Midland Zone. 32 are found only in the Highland. So when one of those specific habitats is destroyed, those unique medicines just vanish. So, okay, why should this matter to the rest of us? Because what's at stake here is so much more than just a list of plants. This quote from the study really gets to the heart of it. This knowledge isn't just data on a spreadsheet. For these healers, it's their entire identity. It's how they earn respect, how they provide for their families. It's their social and cultural capital. And that's exactly why you won't find most of these remedies for sale at the local market. Sure, you can buy ingredients like ginger or pepper for cooking, but there's a really strong cultural belief that this sacred healing knowledge isn't a product. It's a spiritual practice, and you don't sell it. And this, right here, is what makes it all so incredibly fragile. The knowledge is passed down almost exclusively by word of mouth, often from a father to his eldest son. You learn it by watching, by doing, by listening, over decades. There are no textbooks. Nothing is written down. Okay, so let's bring it all together. What we're looking at is a living, breathing, essential healthcare system, and this whole library is under severe threat. But at the same time, it holds untold potential for new scientific discoveries for the medicines of tomorrow. The crucial first step to saving any of it is exactly what this study did. Document the knowledge, respect its keepers, and understand its true value. Which leaves us with this one massive challenge. It's not enough to just save the plants in a botanical garden, and it's not enough to just write down the knowledge in a book. The two are completely intertwined. So the real question we have to ask ourselves is, how do we work with these communities to preserve both the forest and the incredible human library of wisdom it contains?